Hello students, today we'll continue the civics chapter, the Supreme Court. As you all know, the Supreme Court is the highest court in India and it is situated in Delhi. It can be moved if there is a threat to the capital. It can be brought to any other parts of the country with the permission of the president. We have studied regarding the Supreme Court that the Supreme Court of India consists of a Chief Justice and 30 other judges, unless the Parliament prescribes for expansion of judges. We know the qualification that is required for a person to be appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court, that he has to be for at least he has been for at least 5 years a judge of the High Court or two or more such courts in succession. That another qualification is that he has been for at least 10 years an advocate of a high court or of two or more such courts in succession. Or the third qualification is he is, in the opinion of the president, a distinguished jurist. Okay, so these are the three qualifications. Either of these three, if anybody possesses either of the three qualification, he can be appointed as the judge of a Supreme Court. So every judge of the Supreme Court is appointed by the President of India, right? So when the Chief Justice is unable to perform his duties of his office by whatever reason, by reason of absence or otherwise, the President may appoint another judge of the Supreme Court as the acting Chief Justice. Okay, so the Chief Justice can be changed if he is unable to perform his duties or if he is absent from court. So we have studied about appointment of ad hoc judges, then terms of office and independence of judiciary. We have also spoken about how a judge can be removed from office. So today we will continue from the security of tenure of a judge. A judge can remain in his office till he has attained the age of 65 years. So 65 years is a retirement age of the judge. He can be removed by the president on the ground of proved misbehavior or incapacity. The removal of the judge of a Supreme Court or a High Court is a very lengthy process. It's a very complicated process. It is almost like the removal of the president. The judge too has to be impeached, and when he is impeached, only on his impeachment the president can remove the judge of a High Court or a Supreme Court. The security of salaries and service of condition. So see how, in what way the judges are kept safe from the executive, that this salaries and are secure. Judges' salaries, allowances, etc. shall not be changed to their disadvantage during the term of office. Once a salary is set, the salary is not changed to the disadvantage. The salaries can increase, but the salaries cannot decrease. Okay, the salaries of the judge cannot be reduced except during periods of financial emergencies, which we have very rarely come across. I think we have not come across any financial emergencies so far. The salaries are and allowances are charged on the Consolidated Fund of India and so are not subject to vote of Parliament. What is the Consolidated Fund of India? These funds are kept separate from the taxpayers' money. We who pay the tax, the citizen who pay the tax, this amount, the Consolidated Fund of India, is kept separately for such officers such as right from the president. The president's salary is given from the Consolidated Fund of India. The army officers, the high ranking army officers, the army generals, the chief of the army staff, the chief of the navy staff, okay, the air marshal, their salaries are paid from the Consolidated Fund of India. The judges of the High Court and the Supreme Court, their salaries are paid from the Consolidated Fund of India, so that they are not under any pressure of any political power. So the salaries would not be changed unless there's a financial emergency. Then freedom to announce decision and decrees, okay, judgments. The judges are free to announce their decisions and decrees in the court chambers without any danger to their person, property, or fame. Their decisions cannot be criticized in public or by the press. It is a duty of the state to ensure their personal safety at all costs. So here there's a very big advantage for the judges. Whatever decision they take, whatever judgment they pass, the press would not question their judgment. For example, now many people are not very happy with the Babri case, Babri issue, the demolition of the Babri Masjid. But still, the press cannot interfere. Once the verdict is given, it is given. You can only challenge the verdict in a court. Whatever the judgment, whether you like it or not, you have to. You can only find a constitutional remedy, a judicial remedy. You cannot criticize the judge. You cannot injure the judge. You cannot destroy his property. That is the security granted by the country, by the law to the judges of the High Court, the Supreme Court. Punishment for contempt of court. The Supreme Court can punish for the contempt of court if a person or authority makes an attempt to lower its authority. So if you try to defame the court, you can be punished. If you try to show disrespect to the court, you can be punished. This is called as contempt to court. You cannot go to court by wearing slippers. You can go to court wearing shoes, but you are not allowed to go to court wearing chappals. If you go to court wearing chappals, you have to remove the chappals outside the courtroom and then go inside. You cannot go to court in your shorts. You have to be decently dressed. You cannot criticize the court. Full control over its procedure of work and establishment. The Supreme Court is free to decide its own procedure of work and its establishment as well as the conditions of service of its employees. Thus, it is free from influence of any outside agencies. No discussion in the legislature on the court of judges, on the conduct of judges. No discussion can take place in the parliament regarding the conduct of any judge or about the discharge of his duties except when there is a motion for his removal. So, the parliament can discuss about a judge only if they want to pass a no confidence motion. Like they have passed a no confidence motion against the Prime Minister, they can pass a no confidence motion against the judge of a High Court or a Supreme Court. They can impeach the judge. They can pass an impeachment motion. Okay, so they can pass only an impeachment motion, not no confidence motion, an impeachment motion. Very similar to that of the president of the country. Prohibition of practice after retirement. The judges are not allowed to practice like a judge, as a judge after they retire from the post of a judge. They can resign from the post of a judge and they can become lawyers when they are in their tenure. But once they retire, they can't even be a lawyer. Like many doctors, when they retire from the government services, they can open their own private clinics. But a Supreme Court judge cannot have his private court. कि मैं आपका न्याय कर दूंगा. No, he can't do that. The judges are paid handsome pensions, but they are not allowed to practice after their retirement. This has been done so that the judges are not obliged during the tenure as judge to any prospective employer. Moreover, if they are allowed to practice, they might influence their former colleagues in their judiciary. So, why is this? First of all, they are given very good pension. A handsome pension is paid to judges so that they don't have to work after retirement. Otherwise, some big firm will employ them as their lawyers, retired judge as their lawyers. If they become a lawyer after retirement, they might be able to influence the uh, the former colleagues. This is a great. This was He was a great judge. His judgment is always correct. How can he be wrong? So therefore, they are not allowed to practice after retirement. Now we are talking about now let's come to the part where the, the the Supreme Court has certain powers. That is a jurisdiction power. Jurisdiction is the power that a court of law exercises to carry out judgments and enforce laws. The Supreme Court is the protector and the final interpreter of the Constitution. It has both original and appellate jurisdiction as well as advisory jurisdiction. So the Supreme Court is a protector of the Constitution, of the law and order in the country. The Supreme Court is expected to be impartial. The Supreme Court is looked at as the protector, the guardian of law of the land. It has both original and appellate jurisdiction. We'll come to know, I'll tell you what is an original jurisdiction. An original jurisdiction is a first time appeal directly to the High Court or the Supreme Court. Original jurisdiction means the power to hear and determine a dispute in the first instance, that is, those cases which cannot be moved in any other court than the Supreme Court. So the case is directly brought to the Supreme Court. They don't pass through the lower courts, then go to the High Court and then come to the Supreme Court. These cases are directly given to the Supreme Court. They are called as original jurisdiction. That one example is state and center disputes. If the central government and state government they have some dispute, so the case is directly taken by the Supreme Court. Another is election of the judges, election of the president. Election of the president, I correct myself, election of the president. Election of the president, if there's any dispute regarding the manner in which the elections were held, this will directly come to the Supreme Court. These are original jurisdiction. Center state or interstate disputes. The Supreme Court has given exclusive original jurisdiction in any disputes. A. Between Government of India and one or more states, or B. Between Government of India and any other state or states on one side and one or more states on the other, or C. Between two or more states. Exception. This jurisdiction shall not extend to, like when they cannot go directly to the state. A. When a dispute arising out of a treaty, agreement, etc., which is in operation. If there is a dispute regarding some sharing of the river Kaveri, the water river Kaveri. The river Kaveri passes through Karnataka, passes through Tamil Nadu, passes through Kerala. So, the dispute between these three states, these three states, right? So, if there's a treaty between them, they cannot directly go to the Supreme Court. In certain other matters, such as interstate water disputes, matters referred to the Finance Commission, and third, adjustment of certain expenses and pensions between the Union of States. Okay. Then number 2. First was the center state or interstate disputes, and number 2 is protection of fundamental rights. If our fundamental rights, our basic rights are snatched away from us, we can directly approach the Supreme Court. The original jurisdiction also extends to cases of violation of the fundamental right of individuals, and the court can issue several writs for the enforcement of these rights. Any individual can approach the Supreme Court in case of violation of our fundamental rights. Any writs. We'll come to the writs. I think we'll come to the writs later in the chapter. What are the different writs? No, it's not given in this chapter. There are certain writs like habeas corpus. Habeas corpus means you are illegally detained. For example, in the case of the case that is happening in Hisar, the police had garrowed the house of the alleged victim, the victim's family. The victim's family, they are not allowed to move out of their houses. The police has made a bandobast so strong that neither anybody can go in nor anybody could come out. So this is illegal detention of those people. So habeas corpus means on behalf of those people somebody else can file a case directly in the Supreme Court that these people have been illegally detained. That is habeas corpus. So these are writs, the various writs. Transfer of cases from lower courts. Under Article 139A, inserted by the 44th Amendment in 1978, the Supreme Court may transfer to itself cases from one or more courts. One or more high courts. If these involves question of law or cases are of great importance, the Supreme Court may transfer cases from one high court to another in the interest of justice. In case the court feels that there is a threat to a victim, for example, in Allahabad High Court, if the victim's family feel that they are threatened by the UP government or if this case happens in Uttar Pradesh, they might not get justice. They can appeal to the Supreme Court and shift it to any other courts in India. Interpretation of Constitution. How is the Constitution to be interpreted? How are the laws to be interpreted? This right is also given to the Supreme Court. Okay. All cases where interpretation of the Constitution is required can be directly filed in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has the power of exclusive jurisdiction in regard of questions as to constitutional validity of certain law. Some laws are passed by the lawmakers. Who are the lawmakers? The member of the parliament. But the Supreme Court feels that this law is unjust or it is not suited for the present times of the country. So the Supreme Court can ask a question why this law is made, and it can ask for a judicial review. It can ask for the lawmakers, the members of the parliament, to have a second thought of passing this law. Appellate jurisdiction. Appellate jurisdiction means you can appeal to the Supreme Court. If you lose a case in the High Court, you can always appeal in the Supreme Court. That is the appellate jurisdiction. Appellate jurisdiction means the power to grant special leave to appeal against the judgment delivered by any court in the country. It is a court of appeal, which means that it is a court which may change the decision or reduce the sentence passed by the lower courts. The Supreme Court is the final court of appeal. An appeal lies to the Supreme Court from any judgment or final order of a high court in India. The appellate jurisdiction extends to constitutional, civil and criminal cases. So if a person feels that he has been too severely punished for a petty crime in the High Court, he can appeal in the Supreme Court either to reduce his punishment or to free him from this punishment, to declare him innocent. So in India we have, like, it is best of three. If suppose we have a case, there's a case between the government of Maharashtra and a certain citizen of Maharashtra. So the case is in the lower court. the person from the against whom the case is filed, he wins this case in the lower court, then he might be pulled in the high court. Here he loses. So 1 plus 1, 1 for the government, 1 for the citizen. They are 1 each. So this person now has the right to appeal to the Supreme Court. And if here he wins, so it will be in favor of the citizen. If here the state government wins, it will be in the favor of the state government. That is the jurisdiction of appellate jurisdiction. Constitutional cases. All matters irrespective of the nature where a certificate is issued by a high court that is involves an important point of law and needs interpretation of the constitution can be brought before the Supreme Court. Okay, now apart from the appellate jurisdiction extended to the constitutional, civil and criminal cases, we are talking about the constitutional cases. What are constitutional cases? If they feel that this part of the constitution can be interpreted only by the Supreme Court, it can be brought to the Supreme Court. Civil cases. Appeals in civil matters lie to the Supreme Court if the High Court certifies. So a person can approach the Supreme Court only if the High Court allows him to approach the Supreme Court. And when can the High Court allow him? That the case involves a substantial question of law of general importance and that the question needs to be decided by the Supreme Court. However, if the High Court refuses to give a certificate, of the Supreme Court can grant special leave to appeal in suitable cases. So it's not that the Supreme Court only will decide. So if we feel that the High Court has been unjust, we can appeal to the Supreme Court to give us a certificate. Third, criminal cases. Two types of appeals in criminal cases lie in the Supreme Court: cases without the certificate of the High Court and cases with the certificate of the High Court. The certificate of the High Court is not required in a case when the High Court has reversed the judgment of acquittal given by the lower court and punished the accused with death sentence. In such cases, a person will get a certificate. That means he can appeal to the Supreme Court. 2. A case which is withdrawn by the High Court from a subordinate court and sentenced the accused to death. In all other criminal cases, a High Court certification that the case involves a substantial point of law and interpretation of the Constitution is required for appealing to the Supreme Court. Functions of the Supreme Court. Function of the Supreme Court we'll take in the next class. So understand what we have done so far thoroughly. I'll be putting up some questions. Kindly answer them in the morning, tomorrow morning.